Scott and I are time for another better heel or face.
Oh, who's our subject today?
Well, let me ask you, do you smell what I'm cooking?
No, Jake, I was asking who our subject is today.
Yeah. But do you smell what I'm cooking?
You're not cooking anything.
Really? Because I smell toast.
Jake, I think you're having a stroke.
We should go to the hospital.
Better heel or face? The Rock. Today on Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Hey, Scott Narver.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
Hello to everybody out there listening to the Pro Wrestling Palski program. It is a very eventful week here on the program. For one thing, you're not even here, Scott Narver.
Oh, God. I've gone to the ethereal plane.
Yeah, you're like somewhere on the East Coast, I think. We're recording
so much cheese.
We're recording this ahead of time.
Gonna go to Super Duper Weenie. Louis' Lunch.
Super Duper Weenie?
Yeah.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, thanks, Triple D Nation, for informing me.
You got super weenies from your Triple D?
I hope so. Oh, look who's looking for dick jokes.
I don't condone any of that. In any case, it is the 8-year anniversary of Dragon Wagon Radio today, I believe, at time of release.
Send stuff.
Is that what you said? Stuff?
Yeah.
To where? Just send it.
There's an Amazon link. Send links. Send hot dogs. Send Super Duper Weedy coupons.
If you want to celebrate the 8 years.
Do you still need more butt wipes for the studio?
We always need butt wipes. I think I got like 2 more left in me. I think 10 is a nice
They're
round
in
number.
You? Oh, no. Get them out.
Years,
oh.
Not butt wipes. Well, they say that you're not supposed to flush them, but they don't say anything about not shoving them back up.
That's right. You're capping it at 10?
Hey, it's just I can't believe it's been 8 years.
I can. You look it. It's worn on you.
Rude and accurate.
So you're capping it at 10?
No,
Is there anything that could make it go to 11?
Spinal Tap. We just got to change the 10 to 11.
Sure, they'll do a podcast for you.
That would be it. If Spinal Tap, if they were like, hey, we want to do the official Spinal Tap podcast with all surviving cast members of Spinal Tap, here is
no drummers left.
That's what I'd do. Anyways, if you want to celebrate, yes, Scott, thank you very much for telling people to give us
Send stuff.
But you can check out dragonwagonradio.com/support.
Send Jake WWE 2K25
if you want to. Please don't. I barely got to play 2024.
You don't even have Jacob Fatu, right? He's not in that one.
I told you 2 weeks ago, Bastion Pooger or I'm not interested. Anyways, yeah, big week. And it's also my birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank God I left town.
42. What's the point?
No, come on.
Yeah. I look great for my age.
Lying.
I'll have you know.
42.
I look fantastic for my age.
49.
And it's Campfire's birthday as well.
How many things are you just arbitrarily adding on here?
I've told you it's a very eventful week.
So Campfire's birthday. He's what? 6?
He's gonna be 8.
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you guys are roughly the same age.
When you Dragon Wagon Radio and Campfire are the same age.
But then when you change it dog years to human years, right?
Right, yeah, sure.
You guys are roughly the same age.
8 times 7. What's the math on that? Math? Come on, you could do it. You can do this.
6 times 8 is 48, so 56.
There it is. Good job. Yep, barely the same.
Super duper weenie.
Tim Redbeard in chat says, "What did you think of the Elimination Chamber? Can you believe who showed up? Don't do that to us, Tim. That's not fun.
Yeah, it was good.
It was great. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And
thank goodness Logan Paul won.
When it comes to what happened, I guess you know what? We'll have to just see what happens.
All right. The other guy just came in here.
I'm trying to think of what other things are this week that
So
I
you
can
got
say are
you got anniversary, you got a birthday, you got a dog birthday.
Yep.
You getting married?
No, not
All right,
this week.
Count that one out. So is that it?
Vasectomy, maybe? That sounds fun.
You haven't done that already?
Maybe I'll
God
schedule
damn it.
that.
Yeah, you should have done that a while ago.
All right, enough of this bullshit. We're here to talk about pro wrestling. Specifically, we're here to argue because it's what we do best.
That's not true.
About, yeah, I'm getting to it. About a specific wrestler and whether or not they are better off as a heel or a face. So, listener, get ready for a bunch of wishy-washy indecision on Pro Wrestling Palskis. It is better heel or face, The Rock. This one is really tough.
Is it?
I think we've had a lot of tough ones. I think I'm just indecisive when it comes to talent. I don't like being pigeonholed myself as a talent, and I always feel bad pigeonholing others.
When have you been pigeonholed as a talent?
Do you know how many times, how many auditions I'm in where the breakdown is Martin Starr type? You know how many times I've seen those 3 words?
You need thicker glasses.
Is that my problem?
Yeah.
Shit, I had no idea.
All you got's the beard and the long hair.
Oh, first off,
if you get those eyes.
Thank you so much for calling this a beard. That's the nicest thing anybody has ever said to me.
I mean,
it's kind of just more like face pubes. They don't really.
Yeah, I was gonna say the pubes have gone up past through the shirt, up into the face.
I really need to. I'm long overdue for a little trim, but yeah, The Rock. I mean, I can't recall previous installments of this series and whether or not we really broad stroked it, like in their entirety of their career.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they are, or is it like right now on TV? What do you want to see?
Oh, you forgot how we do the show?
Yeah.
Okay. We talk about overall what are they best at. So it's taking his whole career, which truly in the scheme of things of pro wrestler careers,
not a lot.
It's short.
Yeah, comparatively.
Yeah. I think he found success elsewhere. He might have opened a hot dog
used car salesman. Oh,
in Connecticut.
Is he the guy who does the big weenies?
He's the super or the duper. He's not the weenie.
Super.
That was already long standing.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they make their own relish.
That sounds great. Actually, that I'm all for. I need a little relish on a wiener.
Yeah.
Well, I go
or
mustard.
Afterwards. Sometimes you just relish a wiener.
I go real classic: mustard, ketchup, relish. Nothing else. I don't want any onions.
Why not?
Too much shit. I like that.
You shit too much if you eat onions.
Yeah,
there's too much shit.
Yeah, and it's just it's the worst.
Plus,
how hard it is to shit with all these fucking butt wipes shoved up there.
It's probably very difficult.
They said they're gonna decompose, but when?
I don't know.
My septic tank.
Well, your beard is decomposing.
Fucking on fire.
The Rock.
I was asking what you wanted on your hot dog, but okay. Fine.
I mean,
I just detour.
It's the one time I've seen a chili dog in which it looks appetizing or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it looks
different
good.
Because normally it looks like someone didn't put butt wipes in there.
Right. Sure.
In their derriere, and it's all contained. Everything is grabbable and you can eat it. The chili isn't like all over the place.
They don't pour it over the bread and you have to knife and fork it. Exactly.
So everything looks interesting. Where I would be open to trying different stuff on the hot dogs because they present it really well.
Okay. All right. I respect that. Tim Redbeard in the chat, relish on a hot dog is the best. Great. And he also says best Rock versions: heel, anti-heel, tweener, actor, babyface, in that order. I like that he put actor above babyface.
What, no Tooth Fairy?
That's actor.
Is it?
So yeah, so in his, and when you say short career, obviously he's been, quote, a wrestler since a very long time ago, but
we also mean the wrestlers that don't retire.
Exactly.
They just keep going.
And the amount of time he's been active roster is pretty small compared to other people, compared to his contemporaries.
Yes. Yeah. And
except
when
maybe,
you can
say
maybe
Austin.
Oh, he was around last year. Yeah. A handful of times.
Right. Yes.
Or
like The Rock, Cena twice in a lifetime bits where it's like, yeah, he showed up for those 2 months or whatever it is. Yeah.
So to me, it's not that difficult. Maybe I can be swayed by our chat and by you. But I got a pretty strong feeling that I'm solid on.
Hit me.
heel.
Okay. Why do you say that he is a better heel?
I say he's a better heel because when he is a heel, I find no flaws.
Interesting. Okay.
I feel like overall, especially in these later incarnations of us going like, you're a fucking millionaire. You keep getting better looking and you keep getting
Right.
more jacked.
Right.
Like life's way too good for you. I get it. You give an occasional family member a truck
Sure.
or a condo or something like that. That's nice. You're nice to a kid we see on your social media. That's cool. Man, Austin's still doing chores on his ranch.
Right.
He's still
Right.
working. We don't see you do that. We see
Right.
you going back to a convenience store that you stole from as a child, the Snickers bars or whatever it was, 30 plus years later, and going, now I'm going to make amends. Now? You were doing okay a while ago. Now you're doing it?
Right.
There's a sense of, I think, in the world of wrestling where we can go, man, fuck you.
Right.
You're an elite now.
There's a level of the blurred lines of a gimmick that can make a gimmick really successful in both directions.
Yes.
As the young upstart, when they tell, even like Shawn Michaels, who's the cockiest character, the douchebag, the showman, they told the boyhood, dream story, and we all went like, yeah, we get it. It's real.
Yeah.
And that made him an incredible babyface for that short time period there. I do think The Rock being the millionaire, by the way, now boss guy who owns.
Yeah. A guy who also, he's got tons of, he's got a tequila company. He's got a fucking energy drink. He's got all these other things. He's executive producer on movies.
Yeah.
He's a part of the WWE in a corporate side and getting paid a bunch of money. So whatever areas of like Rock is getting extra money in something,
right,
and his massive success, and granted, he's got a team, he's paying people, and it's that, but there's still just the, man, fuck you. You got too much. You have way too much. So it's easy to boo, and I know he's entertaining and fun, but I can boo him and I get more out of it than going like, yay, go get more, get a title, get a this.
I do feel like a babyface Rock is best when it's a babyface Rock fueled by nostalgia, which is not, it's not that it's false, but it's not like, I don't know. It seems to be easy. The way that you can have easy heat, it's whatever the opposite of heat is.
Easy pops?
Easy pops. Because it's just like, we remember when you were around.
We loved you then.
Yeah.
And he's certainly good at it. There's no part of this argument where I go, yeah, he's a lousy babyface.
Right.
No, not. One of my favorite memories of Attitude Era, this is probably around 2000. So he was a full-blown babyface at this point.
Sure.
And Austin's out. Austin is injured, probably doing neck surgery. So this is Staples Center at the arena. The spots in like the 200 areas of an arena where there's the entrance going into all the spots of like section 201, 202, 203, 204, go in these little entryways right here in the hallways. And then there's usually curtains, and then there's an attendant or two that tell you like, oh yeah, you go up that way. Oh, you go up this way. And then someone will help you take you directly to your seat. But they're the initial guards of like, if you're in the 300s, you can't come through here.
Right.
There's this very old black lady, very short, very quiet, and just very few words. Just like, you're right over there. You're over here. You're over there.
Right. Just doing a job.
But not like a, hi, sweetie, how are you? Have a fun time at the show tonight.
Right, yeah.
But probably been doing this job for a long time and just very unassuming. And she's not going to stop it. She's not security or anything. She's not going to tackle anybody. Just as very quietly, could be 60, could be older. Hard to tell.
Right.
But minimum 60.
Okay. So
it's a wrestling show, and it's very much of the era hey, we all like it, and probably all the staff go like, Jesus Christ, wrestling, like, ugh,
Right.
that it's still like a NASCAR gross, like,
Right.
don't like it. The Rock's music hits, and he comes out. She turns around.
Wow. She got the turn.
So everyone's facing the way that people are coming in,
Of course.
and they don't turn around for the show. She turns around and she goes, "Ooh, I love The Rock. I love The Rock." She doesn't work.
Who is she talking to?
Just out loud.
just
I'm standing
the
next
people.
to her. I just happen to be walking by, and I just stay next to her.
I love that he literally elicited like a soliloquy.
Yeah, she's just going. So they did a segment on this later on TV that mirrored this, where there was like an old lady, an older person that worked at the building. It was an
Right.
older black lady, and it wasn't her.
I feel like I remember it. They were in like backstage, like in a hallway.
Yeah, and I think he's doing a bit of the pie, like, "Oh,
Right.
do you like a bit of the
Right.
Rock pie?"
Do you like
Woo.
pie? Yeah.
But he just had that effect on a non-wrestling fan who stopped their job, and throughout his entire segment, which was probably 10 minutes or so, just like, "Ooh, I love The Rock." Said it over and over. Not every 10 seconds, but just would
Enough.
something
More than
would
twice
happen, and
is-
rather than cheer or applaud, she'd just go, "Ooh, I love The Rock."
Such a unique.
It was so
experience.
fun.
Yeah.
So there's fond memories with that of he's transcending in
Well,
2000.
And that a
Of
lot of
being
that
a
comes
beautiful
from-
man,
Well, it also
being a
comes from
quick-witted.
charming. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's very charming, super charismatic. The things that made him a great heel wrestler are the things that make him a great baby face, and would just make him lovable because it's like, yeah, he's talent. He's got the talent
Mhm.
that you wanted of a star. And at that point, he hasn't started too much Hollywooding, but his name is
Yeah,
out
there's
there
been a
enough.
little bit of
He's probably been on SNL.
yeah, the Scorpion King, I
Yeah.
think maybe was shot, but he'd done
Sure.
the Mummy Returns, so
Yep.
there's
Yeah,
a
and
foot in.
he's,
It's like, hey, good for you. Hey, you did it. Good
he
for
was
you, man.
he was holding Chris Kattan or being doing Chris Kattan monkey guy bit on SNL, and yeah, he was. And that's the thing is, I think that
It's potentially, you got your 15 minutes in the Hollywood spotlight. Way to
Right.
go, buddy. And you didn't fuck it up like Hogan. Way to go.
right, and I do feel like that's sort of maybe why I also like you lean heel is that like that's great for just people liking a star. But when it comes to like being a baby face wrestler, telling long stories as a pro wrestler where you are the good guy, we've talked about this before when we do these shows where it's like, listen, the story isn't entirely original, but it's the one that works. Good guy starts getting his ass beat. He starts at the bad guy cheats, the bad guy steals, the bad guy lies, the bad guy does everything he can. Good guy just can't get it out in any way, and then in the end he sorts it out. Like the reason why any good hero's journey is truly an underdog story, because that's just stories. That's what we like that.
Yeah.
There's a reason why a lot of people chase.
We
the champion.
feel like, hey, we got pushed down. Hey, we didn't get our opportunity.
Right.
Oh, but they will. I want them to get it.
And there's a reason,
But not
why
too much.
reason why we
How you got Netflix money? Fuck him.
we see a lot of people chasing the title as a baby face and then turning heel when they have it because it's just better that way.
Yeah.
And
They can turn and be a dick now.
Right.
Like, I got it.
The Rock as a character doesn't really change a lot from being a baby face or a heel. Obviously he's a lot more aggressive as a heel and he's a lot maybe meaner, but he's still
Not than Tamina.
yappy. Well, no one's meaner than Tamina. He's still yappy and quippy and and like cocky regardless of what the angle is. So it really kind of just depends on like who he's going up against and whether or not we like them or hate them more or less.
And like 2003, he did have a like, I'm smarter than you. I'm better.
Sure.
Like, you're doing a lot of this. Like,
Right.
I know.
Right. Yeah.
The Rock concerts, the I'm better than you,
Right.
turning into a Hollywood-esque character.
Right. But
But
people
he-
were still
but-
cheering.
That was just a small
Right.
portion of that, and he didn't continue that.
He also, you know what it is? The Rock might be a perpetual baby face for the 20 seconds to 2 minutes that they play his music. And then
Good God. You know how long that fucking music goes on
I
now?
know. I'm talking about of all time. Like even back
okay.
in the day when it wasn't, a 4 to 10 minute production. But like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that he's one of those people.
For that Pavlovian response of a
Oh,
man
he's a
is
star.
yelling.
Also,
If you smell, and then just people fucking erupt.
Yes.
Because you're hearing him yell himself to come out. Which is
oh my God, that's that guy yelling.
Hey, yeah.
Right.
It's such a weird.
It's less weird than Big E introducing himself from offstage. It's like Big E did the thing.
So did Road Dogg.
That we make fun of in comedy shows, where like you're offstage and you go, our next comedian can be seen touring colleges and clubs all over the country. It's Jake Lloyd Bacon, and then I walk out. Like that's.
But so okay, so we've got if you smell what The Rock is cooking,
right,
which is pre-recorded, and then you've got Big E
on a live mic.
Don't you? Oh no, he's all
that's
city we're
mic.
in.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to get what the intro
yes
consists of.
Yeah.
So it's an interruption of Houston.
Yeah.
Don't you dare be sour. So he's interrupting whatever's going on.
Right.
With a loud noise. And then there's Road Dogg that says, "Oh, you didn't know?"
It's a question.
People are getting cut off.
I know
so
what.
We got 2 questions and 1 loud statement.
Yeah.
But Road Dogg with a call to action.
Right.
Your ass better call somebody.
Right.
Oh,
that's not a call to action. That is a demand. By the way, when I posted the link in the Discord for this live stream,
yes,
I wrote, "Oh, you want a show?" And I really hope that people read it in that tone, because that's what I was trying to do, and I don't think people are going to do that natively. So now I'm going to over explain it on a podcast.
Okay.
But I don't know, the point I'm trying to make, I do think that like he's one of those people that because of his star power and because of that intro, that maybe he's always a babyface for a few seconds.
Yeah, no matter what. And
right.
Since he is sporadically seen,
right,
they can't believe he's there. And
right.
now he is a megastar of movies and everything. So if you haven't watched wrestling for years, back in my previous relationship, the girls, we went to that infamous fucking show of Kofi losing to Brock in
oh really
8 seconds, and
the SmackDown, the first ever SmackDown on
that
Fox.
was a bunch of family, and just every single one of them. It's like, well, you lost all these fans, all these potential fans.
Right.
Like they were having a great time, and then that's it.
Right.
Then who's this guy? Who's the UFC guy? So it was travesty in that sense. But it started off with, it was Becky and Rock and Baron Corbin, or King Corbin, perhaps.
And it was them dogging on King Corbin.
Yeah.
Right?
But for a while, one of the girls would joke about in school, say like, "Oh yeah, I hung out with The Rock last Friday."
That's fun.
What? Yeah, I know The Rock. Yeah, I went and saw him. I saw him do a show.
That is really fun.
And just like she did something that no one else did. Like she saw The Rock live,
right?
Which is crazy to anyone who's not a wrestling fan and knows that, oh, you could have access to seeing him perform live,
right?
In a way. Otherwise, he's just on the movies. He's on TV.
That's a really good point. There's a different type of star quality to somebody who feels more accessible because they do live events where comedians, bands, like I can go, Alexandra and I went and saw Swell Season a year and a half ago before we moved, to the East Coast. And like, it's astounding to me that it's like, oh, here's 2 people who I love as musicians, who I listen to their music all the time, but also I was introduced to them through this iconic movie. Well, you know what I mean? And that I must have watched a million times. And I'm almost more awe-inspired by watching them perform this music from 20 feet away than like, I can watch them on TV.
I feel the same way about Jared Leto and Morbius.
I imagine it. You go
watch
to
that movie a million times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but how do I get access to Morbius?
But you know what? I know you're making a joke, but that is the exact same thing. Yes. Literally it's the same thing where it's like, there's another part to this person that is significantly more accessible, where you can literally go to an event where they will be. And the point of it is that they will speak to you.
They will speak to you and they will be entertaining.
Right.
Well, maybe not so much recently, but. So The Rock, this is where I fault him as a face, is there's a lot of great Rock face moments. But we reached a point, and I think you're watching during some of these, that it became like a compound word challenge that he would come out and have to have the next thing. We've had candy asses. We've had
Right.
the SmackDowns. We've had all
Fruity
these
Pebbles against Cena. Yeah.
and this was pre that, but it was like you're a popcorn fart.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was just
Trying to get the thing that's going to get everybody to laugh and maybe make a bit. They're trying to sell merch. Like what's
merch
a hook?
and a chant, and it felt, there's a bit of a knock on the Gewurz comedy of it all, and maybe what he finds funny. It's the combination of the two going like, that's it.
Right.
And going out and it just felt forced and unnatural. And no, man, I don't like these.
Yeah.
You're not on the pulse anymore. And it
feels like he was doing an impression of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that period lasted a little too long for me. That feels like I don't like that. And that's where the natural baby face was gone. It was a little bit more Dwayne. It was a little bit more Hollywood.
Yeah.
And the guy of old wasn't there anymore.
There's something to be said, though. It's funny that you say that a little bit more, Dwayne, because there's something to be said about the fact that while I know The Rock is a sweet guy and everybody does love him.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason why when he started as a babyface, everybody chanted Rocky sucks because it felt inauthentic. And then not that he was being himself, but then when he was steering his own ship, meaning the ideas come from within him, which is, by the way, being himself. It might not be a representation of his personality.
A little bit of the college football of like
Yeah.
Florida, they talk shit.
Yeah, and
hanging
just
around
the
Farouk,
cockiness
and
yeah.
like Farouk said funny shit, and no one says jabroni, but we all say the word.
Right.
I'm gonna say that word.
Right. And so like there's a reason why when he started being a little bit more of himself, it was a heel and it worked. It started capturing people's imaginations more. It started becoming more popular in the heel sense, but still. So I do think that there's an argument to be made that like a babyface Rock, it's simply just nostalgia, and it's not really like anything more than I want to see you make fun of this guy on a random appearance.
When he was hot, he was hot. When that's a Sunday Night Heat, and he's doing the prayer to that he's Billy Gunn, praying to God,
right?
Those, and then making fun of the Big Show, like he was on fire. It was every segment he was going to be in. You knew I'm in for fucking hilarious shit,
right?
Like this is going to be amazing, and there was a streak of that for sure, where he was untouchable.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's sort of an impossible task, even though he did an amazing job as the final boss.
Yes.
And he was so good at it. Like there was there anybody were there still people rooting for him and Roman versus Cody? I think there were. I think there's inevitably going to be some people that are just like, Rock's my guy. And even if he comes out and does vicious shit, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's awesome. That's why I like him, because he's vicious and because he's The Rock.
And you've known him forever, but chances are.
But that's still being a heel, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's chances are, though, if you're there live and you're in that atmosphere and it's like, oh, it's fucking cool to see Rock, because that one's not for the title. That's that WrestleMania match where it's a tag match. And you go like, all right, well, Cody and Seth lose. Like, no big deal. But like, fucking Rock won. But if it changed where Cody's going to fight Rock for the title, and it's the two stories between them, you'd probably, if you were there and you're like, Rock's my guy, in that moment you might go, well, no, I want Cody to win.
Yeah, you'd get swept up in that story, and that,
because that happened at WrestleMania 18. Yeah. Rock was the face going in. Rock was the
versus who? Which one was that? Was that
Hollywood Hulk Hogan?
Right. Yeah. Right.
And I was there. Right. I was a very extroverted person at the time, and like, who are you rooting for? Right. And everybody fucking said Rock, and I was like, what are you, crazy?
Right.
Hogan's coming back. And I just thought, like, aren't you excited to see Hogan?
Right.
And when he came out, everything flipped.
Right.
I mean, we've all seen it. It's the most amazing moment throughout the match, and The Rock and them registering it. And he's just like, what the fuck you booing me? But he plays into it great.
Yeah.
But it was, hey man, you're good. We got the novelty act that came back. And maybe that's what it would be with if Rock hadn't come back in any other capacity and is fighting Cody. It's like, well, hey, fuck you, Cody. You're fine.
Right.
We want Rock to have this now, but Cody didn't have the title. But it's tricky, because for as much as Hogan has achieved and done, we don't look at him in the same light as what Rock has achieved and done.
No, of course not.
So
Yeah.
it's hard to have that, to think that he would get that pass in that way where
That
it's
Rock
like,
would get that pass, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
because if he's being the final boss, which
Right.
was an amazing evolution of his character, and finding this without having to be the $1 million man, right? Like
Right.
he wasn't buying everybody off,
Right. It wasn't
throwing money
a
around.
shtick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
But he decided to wear the really expensive, whatever that brand is, that shirt that he wears, the really expensive sunglasses. Like he immediately changed his presentation.
All the women in the world that he could have, and he's saying to Cody Rhodes, like, yeah, your mama. And like, tell Mama Rhodes,
Right.
I said hi, like making sweet
Right.
things to her. And nothing about Brandy,
No.
nothing about, your sister.
Sure.
Hey, like,
Well, it's because he knows it's funnier. That's also
Right.
part of the baby face mentality of the like, oh, I'm really good at like crafting what's funny about this and getting people go, oh yeah.
But his heel moments are truly exceptional to garner that much hatred, because that beatdown that he does of Cody, all stars align of the beatdown of Cody by the tour bus in the rain,
Yeah.
and bloodying him, and him just being a fucking bully,
Yeah.
him just being a belligerent,
I do
evil
think-
bully.
I think that that's the best version of the heel Rock, is the bully one, not the hiding behind Vince or the like
The corporate champ.
the corporate champ. None of that shit. I actually really think that if we're gonna dissect like better heel or face, I do think that he is a better heel, but I do think there is an asterisk of he's a better heel when he's right about who he is and what he does, versus the cheater or the one who needs to do something to get ahead because he's not actually living up to his own bullshit. I think he's the best heel when he is like, no, I am the fucking rich dude who can beat your ass. And
Yeah.
you go, yeah, he can beat this guy's ass. But I'm hoping he does, and I'm hoping this guy can figure out a way to do it. But Rock is 100% true. He's 100% honest.
Yeah, I did like the corporate stuff as well, because it was a good way of solidifying, like, hey, we've got our underdog of a mankind,
Right.
and we want to make sure that he's loved. We got Stone Cold, this crazy rebel.
Right.
Rock's kind of funny, and people just boo Vince. So stick him with Vince,
Right.
and cool it down the comedy a little bit,
Yep.
and you'll for sure be booed for a while still. You're going to get cheered very soon,
Right.
but let's milk it as long as we can.
Right. I do want to preface this with we're recording this a few weeks from when you're hearing this in the pod feed. Apparently Rock was on SmackDown and people were
With
really
Cody.
dogging on it. People were saying that it was really bad. This was a few weeks ago again from Prime. I have not watched that yet.
I've seen little portions. I've also heard directly from fellow wrestling fans that we chatted with, and just like, what the fuck was
the
that?
Discord, I remember popping off being like, this was terrible. I'm curious to see what that was and why it was so bad, considering how good most of the stuff has been for the most part recently.
Well,
There's
the Raw
been some
Netflix
duds.
debut
That
was
one
also
that one was all over the place.
was rough, because it's, so you're not the final boss
What are you
anymore.
doing? Yeah, exactly.
You're
what's
you're
the
just
character?
glad handing all the executives,
Corporate. Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, and you killed all your stories? Like, what? Hey man,
Yeah.
we had something good going.
Yeah.
But that feels like, hey, I'm just the good loving Rock. Like,
right.
I'm a happy guy. I'm a happy executive too. Like, oh, we don't want that.
Right.
That's no fun. So he hasn't, I don't think he's really found footing, because even when he came back and he's going to fight Roman, right? Everybody goes like,
the start. Yeah. Before
off,
they
man.
decided to bail on it, he was coming back as like the guy who was helping Cody.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he hasn't found in this iteration the good guy Rock that works and connects, that he can get every pass. He can say, Cody, you're out. And everybody goes like, yeah, we're all about it. Because I thought initially when we were having that discussion, when that was going on this podcast, I thought, yeah, that's just the online community fucking being upset. And that's not real. That's just everyone throwing a temper tantrum initially.
10%, yeah.
But it kept going. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I guess it is real. I'm mistaken. So it's the final boss, though, could do stuff and you go, yeah, that's fine.
I agree.
Storyline, we'll
I
give
agree.
that because you're a fucking asshole and we want to see you get beat up. But he hasn't connected with the people as a face in this incarnation, other than I'm out here.
Right.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Great.
Yeah. Also, that People's Championship they need to lock that in a case and hide it under a bed somewhere. We need to never see that stupid thing ever again.
Would you put it in the Brawlway? Would you start a new Brawlway if you could have it?
No.
What?
I'd put it in the brawl space.
Where's that?
It's a crawl space that we would just call the brawl space. Is where I would store all the wrestling shit that would no longer hang up.
Oh, okay. Seems like a good spot.
All right. Well,
I go heel.
I think I go heel. I think this one is pretty. I don't know, pretty obvious, I guess.
I would definitely not say, oh, he's a bad babyface. No way. Just Bring It stuff was fucking great.
But when we're contrasting and comparing and we're trying to discover better.
Right. And the final boss puts it over the edge for me. Because I could say like, yeah, there's some times where he wasn't so good.
I think that I couldn't have predicted that. And that's why it's so good.
Same.
I think that, 2 years prior, if you would have said like, oh, Rock is going to come back as this huge heel, I would have been like, I don't see how it's possible, which shows you how good it was. Mm-hmm. Because it circumvented all of our expectations and it was shocking. It was literally like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this.
Yeah.
And therefore.
And he's doing it for a guy that.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah,
all the kids love him, all the things. It's like, I remember telling my dad's like, why is he a bad guy? Doesn't everybody love him? That doesn't make sense. That seems like it's a bad idea for business. Right. It's like, not in wrestling.
And also, by the way, not just doing it on wrestling, doing 20-minute long live streams in character for no money, I'm sure. That's, yeah.
Well, I'm sure someone pays him.
It's all his money, at this point. Yeah. But
yeah, we'd love to hear what the listeners think. Call the hotline, 747-666-5606. Hotline's always open. We got phone calls we're going to be taking here.
Speaking of the hotline, yeah, we're going to go take a hotline call. But before we do, once again, we want to thank those who joined us for the super exclusive live stream and our current PWP champ for the month of March, Mass Llama. He will defend that title in just a couple episodes here come April. If you would like to have your name in that contest, well, you got to become a patron over at patreon.com/PW Palskis. That'll do it for the live stream this week. Scott Narver, say goodbye to the live stream.
Bye, live stream.
Bye. 747-666-5606. That's the number of the Pro Wrestling Palskis hotline. I wonder if any champions have anything for us today.
Who knows? How could you ever know?
Hey there, Palskis. This is Mask Llama of the Legendary Fighting Federation, and we are coming up on Elimination Chamber here soon. I was curious if y'all had a favorite Elimination Chamber. I know we've probably got a favorite Elimination Chamber moment or two. You can talk about that. I was curious if anybody actually had a favorite Elimination Chamber. Because now that I think about it, I can't think of one that I'm like, oh, this year's chamber was better than all the others. I kind of remember spots, but not the match. Anyway, I was just curious. Have a good day, y'all. Bye.
Mass Llama, current PWP champ, asking about Elimination Chamber moments.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of agree with him. I have a hard time remembering like specific chambers. Like, oh yeah, that was a chamber with this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and then this guy happened, and this guy happened, and then that happened, and then that guy won. Whereas like, no, I remember a moment.
I can't believe you have trouble remembering a match.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe.
This is unheard of.
Yeah.
I think that stroke really took its toll on you, buddy.
Yeah. Serious.
There's a couple I remember. At this point, we'll have watched one in the watch-alongs, but everything is a quasi weird timing. But Mickey Bell had chosen the first Elimination Chamber match.
Oh, shit.
That we watched last month.
Spoilers.
So you're forgetting. Nope.
For me, right now.
Yeah. So you're forgetting of it.
How long is that match? I'm immediately worried about time.
It's fine. So that one is very memorable because that was unique in this gigantic thing. So I remember that one pretty well, even though I've only seen it a couple of times. I also remember the two that I've been to pretty well. Like one had a shit ending, and it's the one with Triple H and Goldberg and Nash, who's going off to shoot the Punisher. So he shows up with fucking blonde hair out of nowhere.
Okay.
That he's looking like
and this was a chamber match?
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Jericho. It's like SummerSlam 2005, I want to say.
Yeah, I wasn't watching there.
So it was a disappointing ending, and it's crazy to see a chamber, and this is back still when everything was chain
Right.
and gnarly, and guys are getting fucked up. Now it's all like
Yeah.
fucking trampolines in there. But the one that was very memorable in the final moment that was crazy was 2017. I went with producer Andrew at Fox Sports. I'm trying to remember. I think we flew or drove out to Arizona just for the show.
Right.
It was quick, like there and back. And that was the one where Bray Wyatt won the WWE title,
Right.
which was fucking nuts because
Yeah.
it seemed like one of those things that's never going to happen.
Is Orton in there with him?
I think Orton and I'm trying to remember if Orton and Luke won the tag team titles, or they fought each other that night.
That's why I'm thinking of him.
Let me see here. It was, Orton fought Harper.
Got it.
But it was Bray versus John Cena versus AJ Styles versus The Miz versus Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin.
Got it.
So there was a lot of
Right.
contenders in this, and Cena was champ. So it was pretty nuts to see Bray actually win it, to shortly lose it a month-ish later.
Yeah, I guess like Maslama, I remember moments more so than anything. I remember, as much as he's a fucking piece of shit, I recall recently the really enjoying the Kevin Owens and Jake Paul stuff. Or
I thought you loved Kevin Owens.
Son of an electrician, the Canadian dream, baby. I remember that stuff. I remember Edge. Did he beat up Kofi Kingston and steal his spot? I remember being so angry at that because I remember I liked Edge and I liked the Edge story, and I was like, this isn't helping. Like, they didn't use it to then create this great launching point for
bullshit.
Kofi.
Just
it was
stupid bullshit.
So unnecessary. I fucking hated that so much. I remember
you can't have Money in the Bank rules for everything you do now.
Right. I'm
cashing in my Elimination Chamber moment because I get to beat him up. What?
Right. I also really enjoyed the actual HBK in quotation retirement lead up where he didn't beat Taker the first time and he wanted another shot at Mania and he didn't win the Rumble and now Chamber is his only chance, and like I do remember being emotionally invested in that story. I think that's the thing about the Chamber is I think that it's one of those things where there's usually like one really good story going into it and then the guys that are there to be there. And then it's like, yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, this one had felt weird because I looked at the contenders and went, wait, these are the guys to fight Cody?
Yeah. For this past one. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, none of these seemed like only two of them felt tangible.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going,
right.
Damian Priest versus Cody. That's not a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Get out of here. So it didn't feel like, you want all six to really feel like, any of these guys could actually face Cody.
And all of them would be a Mania worthy match.
Yeah.
Because we all are also smart. Because at the end of the day, we also know that there were just some people who are not going to get that spot. But maybe not. We should say that we're recording this before that Chamber happened, so we don't know the outcome of said Chamber, which is why we're being vague.
Yeah.
Or not being vague, why we're being malinformed. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Chamber it's one of those matches that I think I've grown to. I like it more than War Games because it's got a catch that's better, and it's like the match starts when it starts. Like you could be eliminated before everybody's out there. Like people are trying to win it at all times.
Rarely do they do it in a way that really feels like there is one match where that happens. Where it's nuts, where they knock out a champion early.
Oh, right. And it wasn't Cena who was one of them.
There's one where it's the opening of the show, and it's fucking crazy because the rest of the show sucks.
Right.
Because everybody blows their top for it.
Right.
And it's the final two for a championship that's up in the air now.
Right.
And it's Triple H and Undertaker.
Oh, right.
It's fucking nuts. And you go, this is the curtain jerker.
Right.
When everything's way out of bounds. It's
right.
Two fucking titles. All this shit. You can't format a show right.
I do feel like that happened more than once because there was definitely one where the champion who going into it got pinned and he was the first one eliminated.
I think that was that one.
Same one. I want to say maybe it was Cena.
It might have been.
Yeah, that's my. I don't know. This is all. But the point I was trying to get at was, despite the fact that I don't think that the matches as a whole are like classics, I think it's because there's too much that occurs in the same way that a Royal Rumble has a moment and an ending, versus that Rumble in its entirety is a great Rumble, because there is a lot of every Royal Rumble where you're just kind of waiting for the next thing to happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of built in inherently into the style of match. And unfortunately, the Chamber is also kind of that. That's not saying it's bad. The point I'm trying to make is that I always like watching the Chambers.
Yeah.
And even when they're bad, I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. That was a fun match. I don't care about what happened what time it was all said and done, but they're always entertaining.
I think like these, when they do 2 in a night, it just diminishes.
Like everything.
One is diminished.
Yep, like everything.
So when
yes.
it was 1, it was high stakes.
Yep. I
And
agree. The second they started doing both titles in the Chambers every night, yeah, it was.
But if you're doing 2 contenders in a night, then at least there's still stakes. So when you
Sure.
do a woman's contender,
Sure.
okay, there's stakes, and then a men's contender,
It's also
there's
better.
stakes rather than just we're gonna have 2 crazy matches in the same night. Oh,
And
okay.
it is also better when one is a men's and one is a women's, because then it makes sense. These are 2 different divisions and they both get the same story progression. So like I still think it's bad as far as like I don't care whether it's men or women. I've seen this match already once tonight, right?
Yeah.
But from a kayfabe story writing standpoint, it's an easier sell
Yes.
than like, well, we have 2 championships, so we need to have 2 of these matches.
No, you have 4.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry. Well, we're gonna hear from the other 2 champions. Like, oh, for fuck's sake.
But I will say, I always enjoy when people find crazy spots to do. I like,
Otis.
that was a great spot. I do enjoy people use the top of the pods. I enjoy people
That
going through
Brock
the pods.
throwing Austin Theory off of it.
That was an insane one, right? I remember that. There's been some insane weird suplexes. There's been the Hurricane Ranas from top. Like there's always people find
The
to do
spears
something
through
fun.
the pods.
This-
Goldberg spearing Jericho through the pod was right in front of me. We're second row.
That would have been insane.
And it was
Yeah.
nuts. And Jericho's
Yeah.
back was
Some of
fucked
those
up.
are really good. Some of them they don't sell as well. I agree with you, but I'm also, to call back to last week's episode, a little bit cornetti in that I don't want anybody to get hurt. So I understand why we have got the pads now.
Yeah.
But the pads take away from the spectacle
Because I like the
and
violence.
the pains.
If
It's
you're
also
in
like
that match,
selling it. It's
yeah.
like it's hard for me to watch you sell it. And they don't do a good job on commentary. Maybe they do, I'm not paying attention.
Sure.
Of like, do you remember back in the day, even the pads on the concrete floor on the outside, they would like, oh man, there's a pad there. But at the end of the day, that is a concrete floor.
It's as thin as your dick.
So it would sell
What?
it. How do you know?
Hey.
They would sell that, whereas this is just like, it just looks like it looks like a gym mat. It looks like a gym mat.
When you watch the ones of old, and
Yeah.
certainly when you've been there, it's brutal and it's violent, and that's why it felt special in that
Right.
in a Hell in a Cell or something like that, where you go, yeah, I get it. You're not supposed to do these all
Right.
the time because it's fucked up, and I'm not looking for a bunch of high spots. I know that everything is just impactful and brutal,
Right.
and it's a one and done, and we put it away for a while because it's really heavy,
Right.
and when it hangs above you in an arena, it's fucking
Well-
terrifying because you go, what's holding that?
Let me ask you
Seriously,
this.
what's holding that?
New rectangular or old circle?
Are you talking about my dick?
Yeah. Well, I know how thin it is.
New rectangular. At least there's some sharp
New
edges to
rectangular
it.
sounds like a 90s grunge band, by the way. No, I'm curious your thoughts.
Do you mean the chamber design?
Yeah, because from the top, the chamber is different from what it used to be. It used to
Oh.
be a circle
Oh, okay.
from the top. And so therefore the square ring sat in the middle, but then the outsides were curved. Whereas now it's also a square.
I've not paid attention to this
Here, let me look it. I'll pull it
So-
up for you. Chamber, elimination chamber.
because the old is what's in my mind. So I guess I've just really not paid
Elimination
attention.
chamber design change. So, because I will say I like the aesthetic of the square, but it's not as mean looking as the Thunder. Like when I say Thunderdome, I don't mean the WWE
You mean-
Thunderdome.
I mean Mel Gibson's house
Yeah.
that burned to the ground.
Come on. Why can't I find like a good side by side? Come on, internet. All right.
Yeah,
Well, anyway,
come on,
so
Kevin Nash, Pat McAfee.
here's the original.
right.
See how it's a circle?
Yes.
There's the new one. See how it's a square?
Nope. Don't like it.
You like the original circle?
Yep.
I think the original
because that
circle
feels more Hell in the Celly. I love the,
and it's also so much more room on the outside here. See how big that is?
and I love the roof of the original.
Yeah,
That it's this
spider thunder.
It looks like it could be spinning blades at some point. It just feels like you can't go up there and do anything. You're fucked.
Yeah.
It felt uniquely different, and what you're showing me in the other one feels like it's kind of a cage, kind of Hell in the Cell. It just feels similar to other things they have rather than the distinctly unique Elimination Chamber that Eric Bischoff drew on a napkin.
Yeah, that's a good example.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Build this. You don't fucking.
I will say, like,
higher up.
The other thing is that the
Oh, there it is. Did you make that just now?
no, the other thing is that the original is also just so fucking huge. That's also probably why they changed it, because they literally can't sell as many seats. Like,
they had a blue fist they brought around everywhere. It's fine.
It's a fucking enormous, but I do like.
Well, they play bigger venues now, so they're okay. They can let them know we charged you even more money this go around because we brought this heavy fucking thing. Yeah, and I understand why they would change and why they do that and why there's less chains, and I understand. Doesn't mean I like it, but I understand.
All righty. Well, there you have it. Once again, if you want to call the hotline, 747-666-5606. That's how you do it. And you can have your voice on the program along with us, and we can talk all about whatever the fuck you want to talk about.
Yeah.
That'll do it for the program this week. Check out the shop over at pwpalskis.com, where you can also find the link to the Patreon. Patreon's the best way to support the show if you're feeling a little bit extra giving this specific moment, because it is the 8-year anniversary of Dragon Wagon Radio. You can check out dragonwagonradio.com/support. Scott Narver, we have to thank our current Patreon Palskis.
Hold on, I got to find out something. I don't know it's been covered yet. I'll be very brief.
Okay.
What do you know what the 8-year anniversary gift is supposed to be?
Is there one? I thought they only did those on the decades.
What?
Like, I thought it was only like 10, 20, 30.
Not according to the internet.
8-year gift.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Bronze.
Oh shit. I want one of those giant bronze statues that they put out in front of WWE headquarters.
Sure. And that and anything bronze Strowman. So
bronze,
send.
I will throw that in the garbage.
Send bronze Strowman. What size t-shirt are you?
Triple medium.
So send bronze Strowman t-shirts to Jake Lloyd Bacon, courtesy of 8-year anniversary of Dragon Wagon Radio. Also, Bronson Reed. We'll take some of that too.
Alrighty. Get us out of here.
Thank you to all of our current Patreon Palskis. We love you. Adrian Avina, AJ0314, Alex Pierce, Andrea Beeler, Gilbert Short, our current PWP champ, Mass Lama, Mexican Stallion, Michael Beltran, Mike Lucas, Strong Style, Suicide, Tim Redbeard, Tom Hader, and Tony Griggs.
Thanks to each and every one of you for your continued support of the program. We truly appreciate you. Would not, could not, should not do the show without your support. That'll do it for us. We hope you had fun. It is always a blast hanging out with you, the Pro Wrestling Palskis.
It's Dragon Wagon.